Oh, shit.
Hello, sir. I was just wondering if I could confirm you're attending the party?
You tell him I'm coming!
Excellent, excellent. Okay. And will you be coming alone?
And hell's coming with me, you hear?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Hell's coming with me!
Yes, I heard you. Bye-bye, sir. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Folks, welcome to Regan's Ramblings, episode 7. Can you believe we're on episode 7 already? I haven't even named this one yet. I'm so behind. Right, today for my ramble, I am going to talk about who I think are the top 5 coolest TV characters in the modern era, okay, modern TV shows. So I'm talking after 2000, okay? So, let's go. So, cheeky plug. This is my list of my top 5 coolest TV characters in modern TV. Okay, these are in no actual particular order because I don't think I'd be able to literally put these in an order. You may not agree with me on some of these, but these are my opinions. If you have a difference of opinion to me, please put it in the comments and we can chat about that. I'll be putting some clips in here as well, so why I think these guys are cool. Okay, number 1, Sir Bronn of the Blackwater, later Lord of Highgarden and Master of Coin, from Game of Thrones, played excellently by Jerome Flynn. Bronn first appeared in season 1 of Game of Thrones as just a cutthroat who was hanging around with Tyrion. He was like an escort party. He then later championed for Tyrion in a trial by combat with the Eyrie and won. And you actually got to see what a cool guy Bronn was right there. You could see that he was an absolutely vicious fighter, taking on a fully armoured knight with just a sword and shield and leather armour. You also learned how funny the guy is. I mean, some of the stuff he comes out with is brilliant. His excuses for why King Joffrey was such a little arsehole in season 2 was just genius, and it's still something that I do fully believe to this day. I might have it on my tombstone. He's also a bit of a ladies' man. You know, he'll say stuff to some of the women in Game of Thrones that you wouldn't dare say to people in a real setting. So it's brilliant, and I like him because he's very much an anti-hero. You know, he's not in it for anybody but himself. He's not truly good, not truly evil. He's just Bronn.
The little king's backed up, clogged from balls to brains.
You think dipping his wick will cure what ails him?
There's no cure for being a cunt. But the boy's at that age. And he's got nothing to do all day but pick wings off flies. Couldn't out to get some of the poison out.
Okay, next on the list we have General/Consul Mark Antony from the HBO series Rome. This series came out, I think, about 2004, and it's just fantastic. It's a sprawling epic set between the last years of the Romans' conquest of Gaul all the way through to the crowning and rule of Caesar Augustus, which is just a wicked period in history. Obviously, it is highly fictionalized, but a lot of things are based around real events, and my favourite character is Mark Antony, because Mark Antony is basically an utter twat, but you cannot help but love the man. You know, A, he's a real person, You know, whether he was like that in real life, I don't know. I hope he was, because that's awesome. Again, he's an absolute ladies' man, an utter slag, and you love him for it. He's very much the political manipulator. You know, people are terrified of him, especially the senators. And played excellently by James Purefoy, who is one of the most underrated British actors, in my opinion. And he does it with such smarm that you can't think, oh, he's such an asshole, but you love him. Highlights for me for him would be in season 1, where he's just constantly just biting and nipping at little things that Caesar says to him, and some of his things that he says are fantastic. And he Brutus, my old cock. I love that saying. I do. So yeah, Mark Antony in Rome, awesome character.
Don't look so damn grim, eh? Set an example.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Off you go. What are you doing back there? You stitching me up or making a dress, will you? Hurry up, man!
Next we have Spencer Strassmore from the HBO series Ballers. I am very much on HBO high here because I think HBO do make some of the best series that have ever been made. Ballers was a unique one because it was only 30 minutes long. It was very funny, but also had a very serious side and shows a very serious side of the sports talent agency industry and how athletes are treated. Spencer Strassmore is a ex-American football player played by Dwayne Johnson. Funnily enough, he fits quite well into that mould. And Spencer, based just on his charisma and his name, is employed by a company to help get clients for this sports agency. And he ends up, him and his buddy end up going on alone and starting their own agency, and does really, really well. And he gets into like more deep things like owning a team, etc. in the few series. But the best thing is about it, as successful and driven and charismatic and passionate as Spencer Strassmore is, he's got a proper dark side with painkiller addiction and stuff like that. And I believe it's the end of season 2 when he comes out on stage and admits that he's got a problem and he looks like shit. And he's done it to basically for closure, because he had beef with a former client / colleague, Eddie George, a real American football player, where he cut him out of lots of money, and it's that catharsis that comes from that, which is really, really good, and it's excellently played by Dwayne Johnson. He proves time and time again in this series what a good actor he is. So if you haven't seen Ballers, I recommend going out and watching it. I think that's 4 seasons, maybe 5. Some great cameos in there from real actors, that's terrible. From real athletes, and some surprising cameos from actors as well. Yeah, so go and watch Ballers.
Has been rotting from the inside out for decades now, and you know it. And the public is finally beginning to catch up, but they don't even know half the truth about how you guys chew up thousands and thousands of kids every single year under the promise of an education. Then you squeeze out every bit of value that they have before you pass them on to the pros. Or you just discard them as if they got no value at all. And God forbid they get hurt. You know how I know this? Because I saw it, and because I lived it. Robert, look at me. I know where all the dead bodies are buried. Unless you want me digging them up and dragging them in front of the ESPN cameras that you guys love so much, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna stay the fuck away from me and anyone who I care about. And let me tell you, motherfucker, something else. The next time that you bring me to this shithole, it better be to offer me a deal and a huge check, because you're wasting my valuable fucking time.
Next, we come to the main character and biggest star in my favourite TV show of all time. That is Tony Soprano in The Sopranos, played by the late great James Gandolfini. When you first meet Tony, granted I know Sopranos started in '99, but it went on into 2005, 2006, so we can forgive that, okay? The Sopranos, based off a kind of off a real crime family. I can't remember the name of it, but Tony, when we meet him first in the first season, he is he's a capo and underboss in the DeMeo crime family. DeMeo crime family under Jackie Aprile Sr. Jackie dies. There's a power struggle between Tony and his uncle. His uncle goes to jail and goes to hospital and stuff like that. Tony becomes the street boss, the acting boss, the face of the company. And Tony's just such a good, complex character. I mean, on the outside, he's a big, menacing man, like built like a Rottweiler. He's powerful. He's very manipulative. Always gets what he wants. You know, even at the cost of his family and friends. Okay, he doesn't care. You know, he's almost got psychopathic tendencies, but then he's very conflicted by things as well. So that brings him back from that. He's also got an incredible taste in music. He loves like 80s, 70s, and 80s rock stuff like that. The Sopranos itself has got a fantastic soundtrack. You know, you've got your usual Rat Pack sort of stuff in there, but it's got some great rock songs from the 80s and 90s in there, and the 70s as well. Sorry. He's also a huge history buff, which is cool. But like I said, he's very conflicted, is our Tony, and that's one of the things that make him such a good character, because he's not a single dimension. He's got so many sides to him. One minute he can be an absolutely horrible, horrible human being. The next he's a loving dad. And it's the way he's played by James Gandolfini is just amazing. There will never be another character like Tony Soprano. I don't care what anyone says. And that is one of the huge, huge reasons why The Sopranos is my favourite TV show of all time. Better than Game of Thrones. Better than Breaking Bad. Come at me, bro.
Cap in a nice restaurant like this.
That's one of the things I hated most when I had my restaurant. Its values today. Standards are crumbling.
I would have killed his coach to stick around until my kid graduates.
Then let him stay 4 years for Kiara.
Right.
That burns my ass. Where you going?
Oh, my. That would be great.
Take your hat off.
Excuse me?
They don't sell hot dogs here. They took the bleachers out 2 years ago.
It's my hat. I'll wear it where I want.
How you doing?
My final character for my list is one that people may not get, but people who know me personally may understand, and that is Dr. Hannibal Lecter from the TV series Hannibal, based on characters created by Thomas Harris for the books Red Dragon, Silence Lambs, Hannibal and Hannibal Rising, obviously played by Brian Cox originally, then by Anthony Hopkins and Gaspard Ulliott. I'll put the correct spelling of his name there, Gaspard something or other. Good looking guy, did the Chanel Blue advert. Anyway, played by Mads Mikkelsen in the TV series. TV series is like a broad take on Thomas Harris's universe here. And we first meet Hannibal. He's a practicing psychologist, so he's already been through med school. Been a surgeon at a very young age, obviously. And if you can't see that Mads Mikkelsen is just chewing the scenery up, he's so effortlessly cool. It's like he goes into a room and he automatically knows he's the smartest person in there by a huge margin. He can manipulate every single person there with just his voice, with a suggestive look. And that's just the cusp of this. He's also incredibly charming. He's got impeccable manners. He dresses like an Italian mafia boss. The suits he wears are beautiful, and he wears his ties with these huge Windsor knots. And again, it's like something he's not trying to look cool. That is how he dresses, because he is a gentleman at all times. He's also got impeccable tastes in food, music, the arts. I mean, I'm being funny. In this TV show, he's shown cooking with human organs, and I'd eat it. It looks bloody gorgeous. But it also, the TV show shows a slightly different side to him, a slightly more caring side, which is a bit controversial because Hannibal only ever cared for 2 people in his life, and obviously it broadens that a little bit. It shows a slightly more tender side to him, but then you learn that it's just a facade. The tender side is, and it's got some great visuals in there. He's got some very cool scenes, and it's strange because even though you know he's the bad guy of the series, you kind of want him to win because he's just that cool. It's like in the what everybody remembers about Silence of the Lambs, about Red Dragon, about they remember Hannibal Lecter, even though he's barely in the film for 15 minutes in each film. But that is the one thing you remember about that. You remember Hannibal. You remember Dr. Lecter. And I think Mads Mikkelsen's take on Lecter, he said he didn't want to do Hopkins. He said he was basically the devil trapped on Earth. And he didn't want anybody to know. So he just manipulates. And very Puppet Master-esque. So, as strange as it sounds, yes, he is a complete psychopath. But I do love Hannibal Lecter. And he's not only what I think one of the coolest characters ever, I think he's actually one of my favourite literary characters because the way he's written. And when you go back into Hannibal Rising, you learn about his history and stuff like that. You can kind of understand why he's as fucked up as he is. But yeah, that is my top 5, guys. Like I said, that wasn't in any particular order. I'd love to hear if you've got any differences of opinions that I've said. I'd like to know who your favourite TV characters are, or who you think the coolest TV characters are. So hit me up in the comments. Email me at regansramblings@gmail.com.
Did you just smell me?
Difficult to avoid. I really must introduce you to a finer aftershave that smells like something with a ship on the bottle.
I keep getting it for Christmas.
That was good. Okay, I've got a couple more questions. Cool. We've done Juggies. Next one is from your man, Mr. Clark. He asks, this is for both of us, what grinds your gears the most about fitness?
You go first. I've talked loads.
For me, what gets me the most, obviously, is motivation and diet.
Okay.
Because we've discussed this before. My biggest downfall is my diet because I like food. I like the good life.
Do you like Mackies?
Everyone likes Mackies, Chris.
I had Mackies for 3 years. I go to Tokyo with you for a week, and I have Mackies like 3 times.
We did not have Mackies. We had a Wendy's, we had a Moss Burger, and
Burger King twice.
Oh yeah, that was in the airport, so that doesn't count. No, it doesn't count. It's like if you go on holiday and you get an early flight, that 5 a.m. pint in Wetherspoons does not count.
It was a bottle of champagne.
It was a bottle of champagne.
Everything is classier with a Wallace.
That's it. So yeah, that's what grinds my gears most is motivation. Because if I don't feel motivated, I do struggle. But then you did teach me that consistency beats motivation.
Does habit.
Habit beats motivation.
Do something for 3 weeks.
Yep.
And you'll stick with it. So I'm currently doing, because I may not have been on my diet, so I may have gained the lockdown 15.
Wow. You see, I've lost weight.
That's because all you do is drink. All I do is eat cookies. Sam's been baking non-stop.
It's a feeder.
She's a feeder. It is. That's why I'm so jacked. Poor cows. She puts protein in everything though, so I can't complain. You know, cookies, protein. Cake, protein. Muffins, protein. All right. Pancakes, protein. Anyway. No, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'll put on a bit of extra weight. So I've set myself this ridiculous challenge of I will do 10,000 steps every day. Because I'm not walking it, right? I'm on day 3. So I went out at lunchtime today and it is peeing it down.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
So I had a decision to make. Do I on day 3, it's like, no, okay, I'll skip this day. Or do I keep going? Now, I know in my head, if I skip today, I might skip tomorrow.
Ah, right.
And so there's a good saying from Brian over at Never State, who is a fantastic YouTube channel. Anyone who wants to get fit should definitely watch. He's much smarter than me. It's Brian Olsroot and Never State.
Send me all these links for these YouTube channels, and I'll actually put them at the end of the video.
No, I will.
Okay.
I will. But he has a great saying. He says, every time you reach the door to go outside to train, when you put the hand on the doorknob, think, okay, when I come back in, I'm not going to be the same person. I'm going to make it. And he says, make a decision. It goes through everything. It's like, you know, so I had a choice to make. Do I go outside and do the walk? You know, I've got the time, got half an hour, no kids. So, or do I just go back inside and have a cup of tea? I made the decision. I went outside, did the walk, right? And I'm better for that. And I'll do my next walk tonight. I won't even think about it. It's the same as you put your hands on a barbell, or you put your hands on the weight machine. It's like make a decision. Do you go for it's hard, like that heavy squat?
Wasn't that Henry Rollins who said that? Lift or don't lift.
Lift or don't lift. There is no try. But it's like you make the decision. I'm going to be a different person. I'm going to grind this out. I'm going to stick with it. I'm doing lots of rep. Or I'm doing cardio. I'm going to work till I'm a different person, because if I quit a little thing like that, when I'm under real pressure, like so if I'm presenting down Skype to like tomorrow to 300 people, right? If I'm going to crack under the pressure of a barbell, then Lord, I'm going to crack under the pressure of that.
Okay.
So, or if I've got to run into a burning building, Lord forbid me, I never would, because I'd probably trip on the way in. But, you know, or get Sam and the kids out of the house. You know, I've made a decision. Every little decision that toughens you up, toughens your mind a little bit, helps you in those big decisions later on. So I think it's just a really good philosophy that if you're going to do something, make a decision. Do it or don't do it.
Okay, like that. You haven't answered Mr. Clark's question, but I think...
I'll answer it, because it's funny.
Go on,
I'll tell you what, guys, monkeys, and you know this, what really wells me up is random people coming up and say, because you train and saying, oh, so what gear do you take? What steroids do you take, mate? What? So, or the classic one is, you get some text, you get this on the gym. So, what supplements do you take? And then you go, oh. It's always something either it's a drunk guy who's, I was going to say middle-aged, but I'm middle-aged now. So it's a chubby, you know, drunk, aggressive guy who's like, oh, what'd you take then, eh? You know, always happened on the tube at Christmas in London. It used to really irritate me.
Chris is 100% natural and a big advocate for training natural.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. If you want to do gear as much as you want. Just do it sensibly with the right coaching, but do it for the right reasons. Don't do it just to get jacked. If you're a professional athlete and you're getting paid for it, more power to you, right? But it's expensive, and you're gonna have a cost in the long run. And anyone who is a wrestling fan and watches any kind of wrestling documentary will see steroids can and will have a detrimental effect in your life, especially if you're not managing it. But yeah, so it just irritates me, because there's this presumption that it's not I go and bust my ass and I train and I do all these things. It's, oh, there's a magic pill out there that if I took that magic pill, I'd look just like you. It's like looking at like Arnie, right? He's geared off his tits back in the day.
Yeah.
But he trained like an absolute monster.
Yeah.
You could sit there and he could stick steroids in his arse all day and not do any work, and he would look different. It's that presumption anyone who looks good is on gear. It's
with steroids, people do not realise, and they underestimate how much harder you have to work.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not being funny.
Yeah, so go on.
No, if you are taking steroids, you're doing it for a particular reason. So you are going to have to bust your ass. I mean, Arnie used to train, 3-4 hours a day?
He's a monster.
5-6 days a week.
That's what it lets you train more. But there's guys that we knew from back in our day when we played American football. But they being names, we don't live in the country anymore, so it's okay. But who took steroids and looked like crap.
Yeah, he did.
You know, and there's people I know that, like from gyms and stuff who take gear and don't look great. Like, so I take my brother Pete for example, right?
Yeah.
Completely natural, never taken steroids in life. If you look at him, he looks like he's cut out of granite, and just is an absolute monster. You know, full 6-pack, massive arms, massive shoulders. And that's just his genetics. But he walks down the street and people are like, he's on gear.
Yeah.
Got shoulder caps. I'm like,
especially when they see the bicep peak as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's looked like that since he was 16.
Yeah.
You know,
Pete is just naturally
very sexy.
He's a men's health model runner-up. He is a men's health cover model runner-up. But yeah, I've seen Pete, and I've seen people look at Pete when we went to the gym that few times. Yeah. He's there popping out reps of 150 on the bench.
That does irritate me. I mean,
yeah, I know it does. And then you set up the boxes to jump on, and he jumps just as easily as you, even though he's like about 6 inches shorter.
Well, there's a handstand push-up, like you were showing us wrestling moves, and he's like, "Oh, like this, Huey."
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an annoyingly gifted, coordinated athlete. All the coordination of the Wallace family went into one person.
Yeah, you are a very genetically gifted family, though.
Yeah.
I mean, your dad, he's a big guy.
My dad was a championship swimmer. My mum was I think she was a party girl. I'm not sure if she did any exercise. She does yoga now.
Dancing.
Dancing. She had a good time. In Liverpool.
Right, I've got one more question for you. Okay, this is a very important one, actually. How do you make sure you have a good work, family, gym balance whilst all is currently under the same roof?
That's for me, that's easy. But it was harder with work than it is with gym, because I've been training at home for the better part of 2.5 years. So I made the decision. We had our youngest son, Sebi, 2 years ago. Leading up to that, I decided it was his birthday last week. He's granddad of 2. Biting as well, lots of biting. But we decided, like, it was a 20-minute drive to the gym. I was losing 40 minutes a day. I wanted something more convenient. Also, when the baby was little, I wanted to be near in case Sam needed anything.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't 20-minute drive away. I was down the bottom of the road, or down the garage. So I built the garage gym. So the gym side, that's never changed under current circumstances for me. And it actually really helped. So I am terrible without a routine. So if anyone knows me from when I was at university,
you're like a toddler.
I went off the rails. Literally, I was thrown out of 2 universities. So I was thrown out of Portsmouth, and I was thrown out of Wolverhampton. And to get thrown out of university,
they'll be knocking on walls. Come on, and that's because you didn't have the routine.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I'd gone from a Hogwarts type school, for better word, where I had a very, very structured life.
You had a briefcase at school.
I did. A little jacket, blazer. Had a gym, had a sauna, had a golf course. Privileged. I mean, you know, I wear my privilege on my sleeve.
Let's be careful with that word today.
Of all time for Regan's rambles.
Let's be careful with that word, though. Okay. Let's be careful with that word.
As long as you're aware of it, that's all it counts. And then you utilise it in the right manner. There you go. There's my advice for the week.
Okay.
Empower your privilege to help others. There you go.
I like that.
Do work for the Red Cross.
Not after this video, you don't.
Right. They've never seen my face. I've never made it to the office.
It's when all the Photoshop dicks come in. That's gonna be fun. Can't believe you did that.
Oh, dear. I can rein it in so much. No, I mean, what was the question again?
Home gym work-life balance.
Right. So for me, it's that routine. The gym gave me the routine, so it gave reason to get up in the morning. To be fair, I'm working from home anyway, and my office is based in Geneva time, which is now behind us. So my day starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, work-wise.
Okay.
Which is a joy. So I get up early. I get up at 4 a.m. I train. My wife's not doesn't stay up late anyway. So I train and then I work, and then I finish work at 3 o'clock. And the first 3 weeks were really hard because it was a new job. I would work till 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
All asleep, get up, train, and it was too much. I didn't, and everything, because this is my office, this is my study. It's also where my video games are and stuff. It's why my kids come and play in here. So everything was all on one set. So what I do now is I finish work at 3, leave this room, go into another room, go play with the kids, go outside, and then don't really come back in here until like the next morning. So it's gym is in the garage, office is work, and then the rest of the house is, and we go to bed early. We don't stay up watching films or drinking scotch till 5 in the morning or doing whatever you do on your phone. Oh, I can't do that. And then but we go to bed. I go to bed early. I go to bed at like between 9 and 10, and I get up at 4. So your late night is my early morning, if that makes sense. So I've liked mornings. It's quiet. I've got 2 kids. They don't get up till 7. It's that, and when they go to bed at like 8 o'clock. And by that point, me and Sam will have a bottle of wine on the weekend, stay up till 10, half 10, and that's a late night for us. But it's just routine. Again, it sounds awful. I think when you're in a situation like this, having a structure and a routine really helps your sanity.
Routine and dedicated spaces.
Yes, don't get me wrong. If I was in a 2-bedroom flat, as I'll be in when I move to Geneva, I think my answer would be a little bit different.
I'm sure it would.
I'm currently in a Wallace Towers in Scotland, because if you move from London to Scotland, you can pretty much buy half the country. It's just a legitimate reflection of the property market.
That's it.
And so we've got a nice space up here. I'm very lucky and very privileged to have that. And I know when I say things like, "Oh, it's easy to go train and be motivated," but I've spent time. I've been away for a month and literally lived in a box hotel room. With 3 sets of bands, and it's just it's getting into that routine no matter where you are. So let's talk about your program. Let's talk about what you've been. Answer that question for me. How have you done it in lockdown?
Well, as I openly admitted to you, I have not been able to train. I can't get my head in the right space to do that. I'm still, I've been at work, walking around and stuff like that. I've managed to lose weight because I'm not eating a ridiculous amount of shit, which is good. And
Mackey's, they closed Mackey's.
They did. And I'm currently the lightest I've been for a good 15 years, 18 years.
Crazy. There is only about 2 kilos difference between us right now.
I know, yeah, I know. It's hard for me, and I do feel bad for not training. I do. But I do the usual stuff. I make sure I'm, I find an excuse, go downstairs, come back up the stairs, go back down the stairs, come back up the stairs. Just daft little things like that. I'm not sleeping enough. I know that much. But
yes, but you're awake when I get up, which is always my worry.
Other than that, Chris, it's like I said, with my as I said previously, I struggle with my mental health, and finding the motivation for this is something that I haven't really had the space for, if you get me.
Yeah,
obviously
it's not a priority. It's not something you need.
Exactly. I couldn't make it a priority at the moment.
But and that's the point. And it's a good point to come to, is that it doesn't need to be.
No.
You don't need to come out of lockdown prison ripped. No, you don't need to come out of lockdown speaking French, or that's my excuse anyway. You don't need to come out of lockdown, not being better than you are. You just need to get through it. This is a tough time for everyone. Come through it, and then there's always, time is this time will end, and there'll be new, next has come on.
Yeah.
And for you, don't worry. Coach is coming to Shropshire.
Oh yes.
You can come train with me.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. As soon as this is over, I am going to be in the gym like never before. And that again, because that's my why now. That is my why, because I am desperate for it, just to get in there again for that atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere.
Yoga pants. Well, Chris, you'll be happy to know we've actually been talking longer than I was with Tom. So well done.
That was the whole point. As long as I win.
In your face, Holland. In your face.
I'm expecting a 3-part special.
We'll do that next time. We'll film all the Shropshire garden gym fuckery for it.
Magnificent. Mrs. Wallace bringing us some nice cups of tea.
And cherry bakewell. Always cherry bakewell. Cherry bakewell, glass of wine.
Bakewell, glass of wine.
Beers in your hands. Oh, man. So, okay, Chris, apart from your training, what else do you enjoy to do? You know, what do you love? You know, what there is other things than training, Chris. Come on. I mean, obviously you got the Superman picture behind you. You know, when you've established you're a bit of a comic book geek.
I'm not a bit.
Bit of a fantasy geek as well.
I'm an expert when it comes to comics.
You like your fantasy.
I'll take great umbrage with Tom and his ridiculousness, but not loving Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh well,
but I'll save that for when we have a coffee. And
I can see where he's coming from. Me personally, I don't mind Guardians of the Galaxy, but you know that's his opinion. You know, you're also a big wrestling fan.
He's wrong. He's entitled to it, but he's wrong.
Fair enough. I remember my daughter got me a plaque for Christmas this one year. Said I would agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, what do I love in trade? Travel, obviously. I mean, I'm very, very privileged to have travelled to about 70% of the countries in the world now in the last 10 years.
That's
you know, I mean, I think travel is something. It's a privilege, and we did it to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And that was the second time I've been to Japan.
I mean, I couldn't have done Tokyo without you, because your experience in traveling and stuff like that was just, you made everything so much easier for me. Which
I couldn't have got bumped up to business class on the way back if it wasn't for you not checking into the flight. So you know,
this is true. Yeah, we got to business class. It was amazing. Although we were delayed for an hour, and then we went to Finland, and then from Finland to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to Manchester. Missed our train home and had to get a hotel overnight.
Yeah, I mean,
we got £1,000 worth of plane ticket for free, so it's all right.
It's a roundabout, you know. It's good balance of the karma, but no, I mean, so for me, I love travel. I love seeing other parts. I love experiencing different cultures. I think that broadens you. I think, not to get political, I mean, I mentioned Brexit, but I think too many people become entrenched in this is England and this is UK. I mean, I moved to Scotland. And I found that Scotland has a completely different culture than England. And it's amazing, and it's really interesting and you don't have to go that far. You guys live on the Welsh border, you get into Wales, and it's a different culture, different mindset. And I think the more you travel, the more you realise, one, people are just people. You know, there's not that much that divides us. You know, race, religion, all of that. You know, if you come together, and different countries have the same issues that we do, the same problems, same challenges, and then there's other places that we are so privileged. You know, so when I was traveling in Bangladesh, and I went to a school in one of the slums because we were funding it, the company I worked for at the time, and went into this school, and I've never seen school kids so happy to be in this school. But it was literally one building surrounded by open sewage. But these kids were so active, so learning, so inspired, and it's really touching. You see people in these really difficult situations, and I know it sounds like one of those women, they call them Red Cross Tinder pages. You're like, oh, look at me, I'm a humanitarian. It's not. It changes your global perspective. It makes you realise when you come home how damn lucky you are to live here and to have the privileges we have, and to have. And I say this to my son all the time, like when he's like wasting his food, I'm like, you're lucky you've got that food in your plate. You're lucky you've got clean water. You know, he's there saying, I want a new video game. And I'm like, well, go. Why? You don't need it. You just.
I'm guessing he then hits you with something and walks off.
And then explodes in violence. You know,
I love him to bits.
And screams, I've had several I hate you daddies today. I hate you, daddy, you're the worst daddy, can I get a new daddy? I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna live in the woods.
Wow, okay.
I'm gonna punch you in the nuts. That's a fun threat. And he's the right height for it, you know. It's like,
and I know for a fact he's done it before.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I love travel. Other than that, I love comics.
Yeah.
I mean, Superman is my. What would Superman do? That's my question. But if it's a late night in an alley, what would Batman do? Especially if he's with Regan.
We don't talk about that, Ali.
It's legendary.
Oh.
Legendary. We should go to New York sometime.
Yeah. Well, when you're back, if pubs are open again, we will.
Will. It's cheaper for me to get from Geneva to the Midlands than it is from living in Scotland.
Well, no, I'm talking. Well, I know that. I'm talking about when you're in Shropshire for a month.
They're not going to open up pubs in July, are they?
22nd of June, apparently. Some are going to start opening.
What?
Yeah, I know.
See, there you go. Cultural difference. Scotland, we're still in basically still full lockdown. Schools aren't open. There's nothing.
No, yeah.
You guys will sit at the beach, just getting your herd immunity. But no, I mean, you know me. I love wrestling. That's the other thing. I'm undoubtedly between me and your mum, who is the biggest Regan mark. I have been accused of cosplaying the Purge by another former guest, Joe Black.
Oh, okay. Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
Yeah, I was wearing my Purge shirt. I mean, let's be honest. It's because I made that shirt look better than him. It's not my fault,
what have you got to say about that, Joe? I mean, not being funny, you are an absolute unit. This boy's a fucking double wardrobe. Look at him.
I'm not a unit. I'm just magnificent.
Magnificent.
I mean, let's be fair. When I posted last weekend, when I put that singlet on for that powerlifting, ooh,
yeah, they're a strange thing. A singlet is. The one you've got is it's got a very high concentration of lycra, so it's deliberately very tight and restrictive. It's
the hardest thing I've ever had to put on. Sam described it as me doing a human centipede, because I was just like, and you're trying to wriggle in this thing, and it must have taken about 5 minutes to get into the arms.
Yeah, that's the most difficult bit.
I had a new respect for you after putting that on. I was like, the fact that you went out and I watched your first match, and you threw around, did bumps in something that I found uncomfortable just doing bench pressing.
It gets to a stage now. I just walk. It's to a stage now. You get so used to putting the straps up. I'll walk around with it down backstage until about 2 minutes before, and then put my jacket on, let my hair go.
I mean, it's but no, I love the fact you're a wrestler. I am beyond proud that there was a whole bunch of us, people know the background, that worked at Game in Telford.
Yes, we did.
Legendary store, amazing place.
Shit now.
Yeah, shit now we're not there. But we always talked about wrestling, and you're always adamant, I'm going to be a wrestler, I'm going to be a wrestler. And I remember you were, 34 at the time? When you started?
When I started, 35. I was
35, okay. So you were a year older than DDP when he started. Yep. This is what I always go back to. But then, but you were doing it, and then you had your first show, and we all came down to watch, and I was blown away by one. I knew you were a charismatic MFer, but you just lit up the room, and you were so happy. I've never seen you so happy doing so. American football, gaming, whatever, like lifting. You were so happy, and you were in your element, and you're really quite good at it. But no, I'm a huge Regan mark. Personally, I think any booker, Twig, should put at least all their straps on you. We tried on a belt in Tokyo. Let's be fair. I think technically you won a belt in Japan, which again that should raise how much they pay you.
Well, you see, I was talking to a friend of mine, RC Chaos, on his podcast.
I did watch it. Thank you for the shout out, RC. It's much appreciated.
Yes. And as he put it, because of the chopping incident in that pub, technically I have performed wrestling moves in Japan.
You have?
So I've wrestled in Japan. So yeah, definitely.
I mean, personally, I think if you'd let me go out, I could have got you booked. I'm pretty sure Martin Kirby was out there at the time. He is a close personal friend.
No, he was back in the UK. Kirby was.
He was. He just got back there. I'm sure we could have got you a DDT booking. I mean,
you see, I would trust you to do these things, Chris. But then I can just picture you coming back to me and says, "I've got your booking." Oh, great. Okay, yeah. Okay, where is it? Oh, it's in this room. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, what is it? It's a death match.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be brilliant.
No.
That's how you get over. We get a death match. We get it on Twitter. We get your hits. I told you. You get excited. People following you. People love the big Reg. Reganator. Honestly.
This is going to actually be. I've just made a decision. This is going to be. We're going to just keep going at this, and this is going to be my first 2-part guest ramble. So it will be episode 6 and episode 7. Yeah. Them guns. Look at them guns.
That poorly shouldered.
Okay, folks, now it's time for... Well, that made me lol. Now, normally, I trawl through the internet to find things that make me laugh. Okay? I haven't done that this week, okay? I was sent a video, which my friend Chris Home Jim... We're not together or anything. But nothing wrong if we were, obviously. He sent me this video he had commissioned for me, so I'm going to play it for you. And I just want to let you know that it made me laugh so much. I appreciated it amazingly. I'm not even going to do a afterthought. I'm just going to tell you how funny I found this video. And Chris, I appreciate it so much that you did this for me. So yeah, here we go, guys. Buddy!
Wrestling legend Sex Ferguson here, buddy! Yay! And Regan, your friend Chris tells me that you're out there shucking and jiving, hustling and shilling on the gimmick tables all over the UK. Well, let me tell you something, buddy. You're not the only one who's ready for this fucking pandemic to end. I'm sick of lockdown, buddy! Yay! But you just remember, keep fucking pumping away in the gym. Keep doing those 12-ounce curls every night, and the bookings will open back up. And sooner rather than later, you're going to be climbing up a steel cage, and you're going to feel that old familiar hand grab the back of your tights and pull you off the sumbitch so I can scale that motherfucker, go over, go straight to the table. 8x10s for 10, Polaroids for 10, or 2 for 20, you dumb motherfuckers! I'll see you in the ring, Regan.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to Viewer Questions for episode 7. Today, I've got 10 questions from one person, and then a community question that I asked on Facebook. Okay? So let's get cracking with these questions then. Okay, these 10 questions all come from Andy Newbrook, who sent me the lols for the last episode. Question number 1. How would I personally approach the stigma in men's mental health? As I said in my second episode, where I did my ramble on mental health, my guest ramble on mental health, it's a big deal, and the more light we can shed on it, the better. And it's important for men to realise that it is okay not to be okay. It's okay to talk about these things. So me personally, I just run with that. I think the organisations are doing a good job on it at the moment. The whole, like I said, the whole it's okay not to be okay, and just talk. I think it's just a case of just pushing that, ramming it home. You know, it's important. Question number 2. Do I think social media is a good thing or a bad thing? I think social media is a good thing with the potential and power to be very, very evil. That's especially what we've learned recently with cyberbullying, etc., that's driving people to take their own lives and stuff like that. I think when used properly, social media is a very, very invaluable tool, especially for small businesses, etc. It's also, it is good for catching up with people who you haven't spoken to for a number of years. So yeah, social media is a good thing, but it's got the potential to use for evil, like quite a lot of things, really. Number 3. Why is it impossible for people to debate nowadays? It always ends up in an argument. Well, a debate is an argument, essentially. And I don't think it's the issue that it ends up in an argument. I think it's the issue that people don't like having people who have a difference of opinion to them. And I think people get petty and they start insulting each other. And that's just a shitty way to be. You know, if you're going to have a debate, respect people's opinions. You may not agree with them, that's your right, but you have to respect their opinion. Okay? Number 4, why is stairs called stairs on the inside of a house, but steps on the outside of a house? That is a good question, and you have far too much time on your hands, Andy, to come up with these things. I don't know. I think it's a case of the stairway, stairwells. But it's the English language. The English language is frigging mental. So, yeah, I don't know. Wow. What's the toughest decision that I've ever made? Wow. That's a hell of a question. That question deserves a drink. The toughest decision I've ever made would be turning down various jobs that I had offered to me that could have got me out of the current place I was with. Even in I was offered a chefing job for a really open pub. I was offered a management trainee program for a huge global security firm, but I turned them down because what I was doing suited me more at the time. So that's probably the toughest decision I've ever made myself. I might be able to think of another one, but hey. Number 6, what do I want people to say about me when I'm gone? That I was a good person, that I got the job done, and that I was the sort of person that when the chips were down you could rely on me. I think that's important. Scroll down to the rest of these questions. Okay, right. Number 7. If I had a clone, what would I have the clone do? Obviously the menial tasks in life. Go to work, keep the house, that sort of thing. I wouldn't trust it to do anything important. So yeah, just menial tasks. Number 8. This is a good one. I like this one. What weapon would I carry in a zombie apocalypse? I think a warhammer. I think I'd look pretty good with swinging a warhammer around. It's not going to go blunt, although it's not going to break. It doesn't need reloading. Just need to re-hilt it every now and again. Number 9. If the world ended tomorrow, what would you do in your last 24 hours? I'd spend some time with my family and my loved ones. I'd go feed the ducks. I'd smoke a cigar and I'd get wasted. Can't say further than that. And number 10. What 3 adjectives best describe your penis? This is going to be interesting. Broad. Worn in. And gee, let me think. Durable. Oh well, thank you very much for that, Andy. That's made me really chuckle. I hadn't read these until that. So yeah, thank you very much. That's my answers. Oh, now for my community question. I asked it on Facebook, and what I asked was, my favourite console of all time is the Super Nintendo, released in 1991. And my favourite game is the launch title of that console, Super Mario World. Super Mario World was the 4th instalment of the Mario Brothers saga, let's say, and they just expanded it so much. The graphics were beautiful. They introduced lots of little nuances like the flight and stuff like that. The different coloured shells that did the different colour. They did the different things. You got to be Yoshi and play with Yoshi, which is very, very cool as well. You eat things and you're like, sounds great. The different, even the different lands you were in, they were imaginatively named and they were all individual. And yeah, different enemies that came in each of the new lands and stuff. And then you had the boss fight at the very end against Bowser, and that was just awesome. A little bit easy maybe, but still very, very cool. But there's all the secret bits that I loved about it most. You know, so many little secret levels and stuff like that, and secret achievements you could do. Yeah, 96 levels the game had, and that was just unheard of back in the day. So let's see what you all said. Okay, bear with me. This will take a second. I might edit this bit actually. Okay, my first, the first one is from Amanda Linton, who was the guest ramble in episode 3. She says Super Nintendo and Street Fighter. Then she says or Super Mario World, or Kirby, or Donkey Kong. She actually put Donkey Long, which was quite funny. Yeah, so kindred spirit there, Amanda. Awesome choice. Awesome choice. Okay, James Morehouse, the wrestler known as Drake Winter. He put, I'll actually say, the Nintendo Switch. It was PS2 for a long time, but I think the Switch has become #1, and his favourite game is Mario Odyssey. Interesting. Andrew Juggy Grime, his favourite console was the PlayStation 1. His favourite game was Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, which was a great game, to be fair. Beautiful to look at. Alistair Foster, who actually kissed me on the mouth once at a wrestling event whilst he was dressed in drag. He said Super Nintendo and Super Mario World. Good man. Good man. Amy Louise, my buddy Geography, she says Nintendo 64 and Mario Kart. Good choice. Good choice. It's a great console. One of my favourites. But I think Mario Kart was better on the SNES personally. Dan Barnes, Metro, he says Nintendo 64, and it's a toss-up between GoldenEye, which is amazing, and No Mercy, which I still think today stands as the greatest wrestling game ever. Mandy Knight, she loved her Game Boy, and she loved Tetris, but she also loved Super Mario and Bad and Rad, Skate or Die. So that's pretty cool. You know, we've gone handhold. And she actually says she remembers sitting waiting 6 hours for a tape to load so she could play half an hour on a Commodore 64 Mr. Puniverse. Don't know that game, but the Commodore 64 was pretty cool. Dave Trevor, he said his favourite console was the Amstrad 464, and his game was Chucky Egg. I do remember Chucky Egg. Didn't get it. Gideon Beddoes, he said he liked the Sega Mega Drive and Madden 1992. I did have that one. It was pretty damn cool. Brad Tipping, he is still playing GTA 5 on his PS4, and he's been playing it since release. It's got amazing longevity, so yeah, it's a good choice. Adam Dawson, he's a GoldenEye N64 guy. So is Andy Mallet. He says no contest. Okay, Neil James, his favourite is the original Xbox by the looks of it, and it was Tony Hawk's Underground. Didn't play that one. Got bored after Tony Hawk's 3 personally. But I am really looking forward to the Tony Hawk's HD remake. It's going to be amazing. Ashley Ellis got a bit confused by this and he just put Donkey Kong and Mario. Could have been on any number of consoles, but well done, Ash. Well done. Tom Priest, he puts PS1 and Porsche Challenge. Very interesting. Martin Holland, he puts PS1 and Tekken 3. That's Tekken 3 is a great game, one of my favourite beat 'em ups. Next is Darren Edwards, good old Stripes. He put way back the ZX Spectrum and Lords of Midnight. But if you had to go more up to date, he'd say Xbox and Morrowind. Okay, good choice. Now, Tom Holland has put Mega Drive and Streets of Rage. Trust him to pick Mega Drive. He's such a Mega Drive mark. And he's even put a gif of Blaze with her bosoms heaving. So yeah, stay classy, Tom. Charlotte Jones has put GameCube and Monkey Ball. That is a great shout because Monkey Ball was a great game. And the GameCube is one of the most underrated consoles ever. So yeah, fair play. Dan83 has put Nintendo 64. And his favourite game was WCW versus NWO Revenge / GoldenEye. Revenge was a great game because it was the precursor to WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, and it was just a great game, so much fun to play. I think that style of wrestling game, the old THQ ones, are the best wrestling games that have ever been released. Ian Kennedy, he has put the SNES and Mario Kart. Still plays it today on the Switch. Trevor Cross. Again, SNES, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, awesome game, awesome. CJ Jones has put the PS1 and Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 was an incredible game. I think it was the way they intersected the stories and stuff like that. You got the second scenarios on the different discs. That was really, really clever. Visually great. Interesting why they'd have so many puzzle-based things in a police station. But hey, you know, who am I to judge? And also the remake is absolutely terrifying. So I recommend hitting that up. Okay, Dave Rogers, good point. Favourite game is Street Fighter on pretty much any platform. I have to agree with that. I don't think Street Fighter have ever done a dud. So yeah, fair play. Christopher Wallace, he has asked me if he can say PC and City of Heroes, because he is part of the PC Master Race. You can say that, Chris, but you know, you proved yourself a bit of a douchebag by doing it, but that's okay. We love you anyway. If not, PS1 and Final Fantasy VII. I'm ashamed to say Final Fantasy VII was a game I could never get into. I was never big on turn-based RPGs, but I do appreciate what went into the game because it's huge, it's sprawling, and it's got a great story. So yeah, fair enough. Matthew Ash has put Sega Mega Drive with Streets of Rage 2. Another good shout there. I prefer Streets of Rage 1 personally. I don't know why. Just did. Or the Super Nintendo Zelda Link to the Past. That was a cracking game, so fair play there. We always have to have one who pulls out something retro here. Okay, Richard Pugh, Big Rich, he has put Sega Saturn and Time Cop. Dan83 pipes up and said he loved this Saturn and Command & Conquer Red Alert, so fair enough. Okay. This is not very helpful, Scott, but okay, Scott Thompson has put his favourite game ever is the Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time, but he thinks that the SNES is his favourite console. That's interesting, that really is. So obviously you had a lot of titles on the SNES, a lot of titles on the N64, and I think it just goes to say something about Nintendo. They were always concentrated on games and being games for gamers. So yeah, that's very cool. Tristan Morris Jones, he said he's going to be straight up and say Xbox One with Kingdom Come installed. Fair enough. Yeah, to each his own. Simon Hare has put Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation. Again, it's a good shout. Resident Evil 2 was a benchmark in the series. I'm not a big fan of the first-person Resident Evils. I think it's weird. I'm also not a massive fan of when they got rid of the zombies. You just had like crazy villagers or the things that had the Demogorgon faces and shit like that. So, okay, yeah, Resident Evil 2, nice. Luke Twig, Mr. Basham, he loved the N64, Zelda and GoldenEye, but he thinks the original Xbox was the game changer, as it spurred, it spurred the war that we have now. Especially for him, he likes Splinter Cell. When that game came out, we'd never had cutscene graphics like it. I agree with that. Gareth Bowen, G John Chase, he has put. Oh my God, where are you going? Oh, sorry, I'm not very good at this whole thing with the laptop. Did anyone see that Lord of the Rings Zoom meeting? That was very cool. Okay, Luke Twig. No, Gareth Bowen. He has put the PSX. I don't know what that is. And Resident Evil 2. Again, Resident Evil 2 is huge. It's got so much love. Okay. Mark Garner. I knew this was coming. PS1, Metal Gear Solid. Just for the soundtrack and dialogue. Me and Mark used to sit in the office at work, and all of a sudden you just get... Dun, 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 and that'd be playing. It was great. Really spurred you on to do your work as well. And the dialogue is amazing. You know, I do a pretty good Snake when I've had a few, so maybe I'll do that in a future video. Okay, there you go. Something. What impressions would you like me to do? Because a lot of people know I'm pretty good. Okay, and then finally, Neil S. McIntyre, Neely Mac, Ikari Warriors on the Amstrad CPC 464. It was a wicked game. I don't remember that one. My favourite game on the Amstrad and the Commodore 64 that were the Dizzy games. I loved them. I did. I absolutely loved them. 1942, that was a good game as well. Right. I really enjoyed that, guys. Like I said, I'm going to do more of these community questions. So I did notice it was this particular one was a bit of a sausage fest. Girls, I know some of you are out there game, so you know. Come on. But still, had a lot of fun. So yeah, any questions you've got for me, hit me up on my Instagram, regan_pro_wrestler, or via my email address, which only one person has used so far, regansramblings@gmail.com. Hayden Rowley asked me if I could recommend any good workouts for cardio. Now, Hayden is an aspiring professional wrestler, so I recommended HIIT cardio, because you need more sprint cardio than marathon cardio to be a professional wrestler. So I hope that helped. I've pointed him in the direction of some videos and stuff. Any other stuff you want to know about fitness, etc., hit up Chris_home_gym, who is today we had part 2 of 3 of his guest ramble. The guy knows what he's talking about, and he's a decent guy, so hit him up with any questions you may or may not have, or send him a dick pic. He does like them. Thanks very much, guys. Right, guys, that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, thank you for subscribing as well. What did we learn this week? We learned about what I think is cool. And if you notice about all these people, they're not black and white characters. They are very varied. They are all conflicted and have realistic issues and problems. Which goes to the whole, you know, just because you're a man doesn't mean you've got to be this strong pillar of granite for everybody to rally around. You don't have to be the strong silent type. You can be a real human being with real emotions, and god damn it, you let them emotions out if you need to. We also had a bit more of a chat with Chris, and he's a good guy, Chris. Obviously the support he's given me has been amazing, and I could not thank him enough for that. We've had lols, we've answered questions, you know, a lot of gamers out there. Super Nintendo had a lot of love, which I'm really chuffed about. So Resident Evil 2, which again I am chuffed about, because that, as I said, it's a benchmark in the series. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Stay safe. Much love. One more thing. There seems to be a bit of a cancer in the British wrestling industry at the moment, and I've been on Twitter today, and it's very, very, very negative place at the moment, but quite rightly so, because it seems that certain talent are taking it upon themselves to gaslight, abuse and harass female talent, and it's not on. The wrestling business would be better off without you. So if you're one of these people who've done things like this, you need to have a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and decide if this is the sort of legacy you want to leave, if this is what you want to be remembered for. Because I'll be honest, it makes me sick. Sorry to end on a negative, guys, but it needs to be said. I am a professional wrestler in the British independent scene, and what you guys do jeopardises what I love, what my friends love, what we all love. So, from Regan's Ramblings, all I'm saying is get in the fucking bin if we don't need you. And anybody out there who has been a victim of this sort of thing, you need someone to talk to, drop me an email, drop me a DM, I'll talk to you. Okay? And I can pass details on to somebody who has got no problem with outing these sleazebags. As long as you've got evidence, he will do it publicly, no questions asked. Okay? So, once again, be safe and much love.